Welcome to the place where we learn about and learn from the leaders in our field who are powering human creativity. I am Aaron Dworkin, and this is Arts Engines. Thanks again for joining me here on Arts Engines. Today's guest is Alva, who serves as the director of the big band and jazz combo at Chapman University's College of the Performing Arts. Albert, welcome to the show.
Hello, Aaron. So glad to be here.
Well, it's so exciting to have you on the show, and I definitely want to kind of talk about this work that's happening at Chapman. One of our great and wonderful creative partners helped us to co-curate for this show, and I want to kind of begin to talk a little further about what these kind of aspects of collaboration and partnerships get incorporated into it. But first of all, if you can just share for our audience kind of the scope and breadth of the work that you're doing in jazz with big band at Chapman.
Well, I've been at Chapman, it looks like 18 years. And with the many departments that we have in the COPA, we call it, performing arts with dance and violins and theater and music, classical, I've always wanted to see if we can join forces with each other and put some works together. So I know in my own groups, I've used strings. This is for the big band. I've used strings ensembles. And once we had the classical guitarist open for we collaborated with them on a piece. That was pretty exciting. And I've used dancers in the show. So I'm going to be one of the proponents, leaders, and I'm always open for the idea. So maybe with this conversation here, we can spark some ideas for other people that are involved at the school.
Absolutely. And, that's so great. And, it's something that I think a lot in our audience are looking at some of these cross-disciplinary, interdisciplinary work. And I know that sometimes a question comes up of, okay, well, kind of the idea about that's great. But when we actually try and put it into practice at our institution, we sometimes run into some blockades or obstacles. So I was just finding as you kind of delve into this work, have you found any kind of key obstacles? And if so, how have you any solutions you've had to overcome them?
I think it's just going to be meeting with the directors of the other ensembles. And I think that's going to make it work. Right now, I kind of do it with me and the students from these different departments. But I think some more collaboration with the people actually running the departments would take me to the next level. Then we can plan something special.
Yeah, awesome. And as you kind of look at it, do you kind of look at things being kind of more faculty, kind of led and architected, or kind of just creating a framework and letting students drive the process? Do you have kind of a sense of a preference or a difference of approach that you like to follow?
We've gone with the students most of the time. We kind of do our own thing. I'm kind of known for doing my own thing and causing a little trouble, good trouble, as they say.
Right.
And so my concerts are well attended, and that's because nobody knows what we're going to do, actually. It's such a variety show, and nobody knows what I'm going to say. So we have a lot of fun. And so the students come up with ideas, and I will go with it. They know that pretty much whatever question they ask, the answer is going to probably be yes. They say, we can try this. Can we do this? Can we do this? We did one show where we were talked about having some salsa dancers join us on stage, but I never saw them until the sound check. And the musician said, well, I have my dancers unrehearsed on faith. They did an excellent job with the performance. So I guess with jazz, we're more open to the spontaneous kind of thing. We just kind of letting happen. We'll take a chance, is what I'm trying to say.
Awesome, awesome. And you know, I think it's great because it's not just kind of blending different disciplines and styles, but it seems there's really differing cultures, right, in our various disciplines that we practice. And I'm wondering, do you find that as you bring different students in for different projects, that it's not just, you know, how do we connect artistically, but is there also kind of cultural differences that come into play?
Yes, cultural differences. We want to take advantage of the students' culture that we have in front of us. So that's the way I've always approached the music, the way I plan a concert. I never do it ahead of time. I like to see who's in the band and what cultures we have, and that makes the students, by the time we're getting ready to perform, they feel like they're part of the production.
Awesome, awesome. I think that's so important. So one thing I'm sure that must be part of this great work that you're doing, and it seems that also clearly not only is great you're impacting students, but it seems like it's very joyful work. It seems like, you know, you definitely derive a huge amount of just joy from this work. That, you know, a lot of people have seen a shift over the last couple of years in terms of incorporation of composers of color and kind of you know, being able to have a more broader inclusive perspective. And just wondering, kind of from your viewpoint and looking at jazz, what have you experienced? What do you think has kind of happened in your own work?
Well, lucky for us, jazz has its roots with the African American culture. So I've had a lot to draw from when we were during the pandemic classes on Zoom. I would have conversations, share video, and have some serious discussions with the students. I I would pose a question to them, and then I made sure I heard from every single person in the class. Nobody was blocked out, or so we got. I encouraged to have varying opinions, and like I was saying, because of the music, we were able to. I had a lot of places to draw material from. So,
Awesome.
we did a piece by Billie Holiday, the only recording she did with Artie Shaw, and there's some implications with that. And so we told a backstory, and I had the students introduce it. And the same thing with Ella Fitzgerald. She wrote a song for Martin Luther King after he was assassinated, and it's a rare song. We performed it at Chapman. And
Awesome.
again, I had another student introduce it. So I bring up these topics. I want to have the students be able to express themselves through the music.
That is just so important. And I also love how you're incorporating to the context of the works and the students talking about it, all of that. As you kind of look back on, you know, even just the past couple of years, is there, you know, a project or performance or aspect that you worked on that kind of stands out, that either brought you the most amount of pride or sense of impact as you kind of look back?
We had the opportunity, thanks to the wonderful Musco theater people, that they provided guest artists for my big band, for my jazz ensembles. So we had the legendary Count Basie big band, and they allowed some of our students to play with them on a selection. And a couple of more bands like the very popular Gordon Goodwin Big Fat Band, as well as the Stan Kenton Legacy Orchestra. If you can imagine this, our students on one number, the big finale, we played along with them. Our musicians sat right next to their players, the professionals. There was 40 musicians playing on one song, and the students really learned an amazing lesson and playing with the professionals. So I was very proud of that, and the students got a lot out of that.
That's awesome. That and those kinds of interactions, I think so many find that, that ability for students to play next to the professionals that one day, they are training and preparing to be, but to already kind of sit and be immersed with them and make art together can truly be, I think, a really empowering experience for sure.
And since I'm a player, I play saxophone and work as that as well. I perform sometimes with the students. There was one performance where we had a couple of young twin brothers that want to be on the big stage, pop stars, and I performed a song with them. So we choreographed a dance routine, and we're all singing. So I get involved and play. I think the students get something out of knowing that their instructor is also a performer. So I'm lucky that I have that in my back pocket.
Definitely. I think that's, of course, just one of the most powerful things. And they get to see it up front and get to actually, of course, make music with you. That is awesome. So unfortunately, we're just about out of time, but I always like to ask of all of my guests, this work, while, creating such wonderful impact and bringing so much joy to you and to your students and to the audiences, there's got to be some tough times or times when it feels like things aren't coming together. And just curious, are there any either mechanisms or approaches or places that you go to as a leader to draw on for inspiration, for strength, especially during tough times?
I would say that I am so immersed and know so much of the history of music and jazz, and I would say I reach out to the students too. That's something that people don't always do. We can just have a discussion and we can work it out together. That's what's worked for me.
That's awesome. And I think ultimately for so many of us, especially in these teaching environments, the students being the ultimate inspiration is just rings so close to home. Albert, Alva, thank you so much for being on the show. You truly are one of the arts engines who is powering human creativity in our world. We greatly appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I was looking forward to this, and you did not disappoint. Thank you for having me.